Karibu sana, Pastor. Does she need introduction? Okay, tell us who you are.
My name is Bonolo, and I do graphics design.
Wow, amazing, amazing. So Bonolo, there is an experience in your life that God has done to you. You want to share with us this morning?
Yes. I used to have a struggle with pain, which began in 2007. It was caused by a fall, which I had back in school, like in Form 5, because I used to do athletics. And so while running, I was actually running a 100 meters relay. And just about to reach the finish line to qualify for nationals, I fell. And so ever since that day, I have been experiencing excruciating pain in my left leg. Yeah, so it's a condition that I've had for over 10 or so years, where constantly I'm in pain. I can't sit too long, can't stand too long. It had reached points where even in the classroom, while the teacher is teaching, I'm standing because I'm in pain. And then I have to sit down because even when I'm standing, I'm in pain. So constantly throughout the class, I have to stand, I have to sit, I have to stand, I have to sit. The pain continued through the years, and even in my adult life, I had to stop doing certain things. I can't withstand cold. Like if the AC is on and it gets very cold, my bone feels like it's splitting in two, and there's just so much pain. And I can't sit on the floor. Like sitting down kabisa on the floor on the carpet is painful. My leg just goes numb whenever it chooses to. And I used to walk with a limp as well, all the time. And every time you'd see me walk with a limp, it would mean I'm in pain. It's just not like happy. I literally am in pain. I can't stand the pain. So it's just been pain throughout the time.
Doctor, can you tell us how will the fall cause all of this throughout our life?
So a fall is what we call trauma, and when someone falls on a joint, it can actually damage the joint. So in her case, what was damaged was the hip joint. So she got a condition that we call coxarthrosis. So it's mainly a damage to the joint, and the cause for her was the trauma. So there's a certain way that the joint has to be, we call it like a joint integrity. A joint is made up of bones, there are muscles, there are ligaments, there are tendons. So there's a certain state at which all of this has to be maintained in. And when someone has experienced an accident, it triggers certain reactions that now produces different kind of damages to either the bones or the cartilage, the different contents of this joint that's damaged over the time.
So, Bonolo, tell us the actual limitations that this condition brought, because you had a dream to go to the nationals. Then was that dream fulfilled? And what are other limitations that you experienced due to this?
I'm a very athletic, sporty person. I love sports. So I couldn't qualify for the nationals because of that. And at some point, I also got the privilege to be selected by one of the top netball teams in the country. And I started practice with them, but I couldn't continue because my leg was limiting me. So I had to leave the opportunity. I never got to pursue that dream as well. And also, I find by the time I had my firstborn daughter, I still had the condition. And there'd be times where I'm in such pain, I can't pick her up because her weight and also my weight on my leg is just too much. So sometimes she'd just be crying and I'm like, it's so painful, I can't carry you. And even breastfeeding was an issue because if I breastfeed too long on this side, I'm applying too much weight on my hip as well. So you find the longer she feeds, the longer I'm in pain, then I have to switch. And so things like that, even like things like normally like praying to go on your knees, I can't do that. The minute I stand, if I go on my knees, I'm just in pain to the point where I had a way that I would kneel down and pray. I put my right leg forward and my left one behind so that I could withstand the weight. So just a lot of limitations. When I sleep, I can only ever sleep on one side for like over 10 years. I can't switch to the left side because if I sleep on the left side, I feel pain. When it's cloudy or it's about to rain, yani napiga weather forecast mwenyewe, yani kwa sababu nasikia maumivu ndo najua leo itanyesha vizuri, yani like I already know it will rain because my leg hurts. And when it's raining throughout the time, I'm in pain. So you can imagine at night I can't sleep because the leg hurts. I can't turn to the left. If it rains, it's even worse. The pain increases. And monthly, like if I reach the time of my monthly period, I'm not in pain because of like cramps. My leg is what hurts the worst. Because apparently the doctors told me because when you have that condition at the time of your period, you're more sensitive. So you tend to feel even other pains. So I'm just constantly in pain. I've had moments where I've had to have injections, literally, just to help me to be able to sit, because it's just that painful.
Wow. So, wow. Can you picture it over 20 years?
Yeah.
Over 20 years.
All the time. Even when I'm standing singing, every time you've ever seen me standing singing, and we stand a long time, I am in pain. Even when I sit, so like by the time Baba's like, doorkeepers, you can sit down, I'm thinking, how will I sit? Because literally, nikikaa chini, the pain splits through my bone all the way to my toes. It's like my bone in a split, alafu mtu anapuliza hewa. Yani like, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, so all the time. Sometimes I'm standing singing and I'm just in terrible pain. But I just withstand it. Like I can't exactly break down now singing to people. Yeah.
It's just amazing that whoever thought that she's constantly in pain like that. She's one of the most joyful people you can meet around. She's so jolly, laughing, energized in the room. But she was passing through this situation.
Yeah. All the time.
So when you went to the doctors, I believe you went to the doctors.
Yes, dozens of times.
What did the doctors say? What could they do to fix the situation?
I've been to doctors in Malaysia. I've seen specialists from India. I've seen a specialist from England in my country. And they told me I have a condition. Now it's like it had worsened. Now my bone was completely finished. Like if you see the x-ray, there are parts of my bone missing, like it's not there. And they've told me the only way to solve this, you just need a total hip replacement. Meaning they need to cut off the top of the hip bone and replace it with a metal. And one doctor was even saying there's a point where even the acetubulum will have to replace that as well, because there's no more bone left.
So, doctor, can you help us explain what does this mean? What is a total hip replacement mean?
It's amazing that already she's a doctor herself, but just the explanations. Yeah, but now, as I said, the condition damages the joint. So it starts with damaging the cartilage, but it worsens, it even involves the bones, of which it was in her case. So it comes to extent that, okay, now we cannot really do anything about it. Medications are not helping with the pain. This is one of conditions that we say the person goes through excruciating pain. She has described the pain so well, like textbook answers you get from her. That's excruciating pain. Yeah, so total hip replacement, that's what we offer, but it comes with so many conditions. When you replace the hip joint, it's estimated around 15 to 20 years the person can live with that joint, with that now artificial joint, I can call it. So it can live with 15 to 20 years. So if someone is as young as she is, and then you want to do such a major operation at such a young age, and then she has to stay with it for the next maybe maximum 20 years, then that would mean she'll have to go through another major operation to replace that artificial joint again. So what we usually encourage them is, at least if they could endure the pain for a while, to like extend the time for operation, so that by the time when they go through the total hip replacement, it's at a time where they're elderly, and then if we are to add 20 more years, probably we assume it will be the end of their life already. So in total hip replacement, what happens is we use an artificial joint to replace the damaged area. So the joint space itself, the structures there, and the bones involved. I'd put up a picture for a better imagination. So it's all like a metallic material being used to replace those aspects of the joints. So this also comes with its own complications. Surgery, when you just hear an operation or surgery, it comes with operation, and that's why we usually ask patients to give a consent to it. Surgery can lead to excessive bleeding, to say. It can lead to infections that can make even the surgery itself more complicated. It can even lead to death. So surgery itself has its own complications, but also living with such artificial thing in your body, it also calls to a lifestyle of medications, because this is something that can cause clots, like blood can easily clot with such a metallic material in your body. So there's drugs that the patient has to take daily in order to avoid such complications. So someone can be operated, and if they're not abiding to such medications, they can even die from a stroke, because now this has triggered that stroke. So it comes with a lot of things, and that's why it's better to postpone it. So if someone can persevere with the pain, it's better to just treat the pain daily and not go through the...
Yeah, it's true.
So did you go through the operation to do total hip replacement?
No, I didn't, because the doctors told me, like all 5 of them were telling me, the problem with you is you're too young. We can't do this thing at your age. You still have to have more kids. You are just too young. And the doctor said, what you can do now is just persevere with your pain until you are like maybe 45 years. Then only we can do your hip replacement. But he was like, now drink Panadol, I don't know, just take medicine to help you manage the pain. But we won't touch you till you're like 45, 50 years.
When you were hearing such report, what was going on in your mind? Here in this this situation, and this is how much the doctors can do.
Disappointing, because I've had this thing for a long time. I don't even remember how I walk like normally, because I've had a limp all along, and I've been in so much pain. And even thinking of having like another child is like, hey, Evie, am I really sure I want to? Because even the birth process took longer than it should have, because the condition has altered my posture in such a way that even if the midwife kept telling me, Bonolo, be straight so that the baby can come out, she's ready, everything's ready, just be straight. And I'm like, no, in my head, I'm straight. This is as straight as it will get. So you need to help me to be straight, because I know I'm straight. And she was like, no, you're still tilted, so the baby can't come out. And so she had to help. My husband literally had to hold my legs for me so that they could straighten me. So hearing the doctor tell me I have to wait till I'm 50, I'm now wondering, okay, so when I have my second child, what's labor going to be like? Like, what's going to happen? And that means I have to now continue managing pain, feeling pain all the time. And it's a bone, so it gets even worse. And, you know, sometimes I go to the hospital and I'm in a queue with like 50, 60-year-olds. And the way they are walking is scary because I'm looking at them like, that means I'll walk like that, you know? So it was very disappointing, and I felt very sad, but somehow I just kept saying, God, you cannot leave me like this. No, it just can't happen that I will live till I'm 50 with this condition.
Wow. I don't know if you try to put yourself in our shoes, in a situation. I don't know if you can imagine the extent of pain, of you living daily, expecting pain.
Yeah, daily.
Knowing it's now pain is just part and parcel of me.
Yeah.
And there's nothing can be done, at least when I reach 45. So you live by expectation. Maybe the years go faster for me to reach that time. So maybe a cure or something can be done in my situation. I don't know if you can put yourself in that position. I don't know what you will have done. It's not a very simple place to be. When you hear someone talk about it, but if you are the one who went through it, it's not an easy situation.
Yeah, very true.
So, Bunolo, what happened after that?
After that, there was a day last year around August when we did many anointing services and Baba was anointing us a lot of times. Then there was a day that he just suddenly said, if there are people here that suffering from joint pains, they have joint issues, come forward. So I immediately just ran forward, like I left my doorkeeping and I ran forward. And we were so many, and he didn't even touch any of us. He just commanded the joint to be well, and he just spoke a word, and then we all went back to our places. So I went back to the front to go back ministering. And while I was standing, I noticed that for the past 10 or so years, I've never been able to put my feet together. If I stand, this leg will automatically just go to the side. So I always have to put it back in place. But I noticed, like, while I was ministering, after he had spoken the word, my leg was straight, which has never happened. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I've never been able to do that on my own. The leg is straight. So I was like, okay, what should I do? Like, should I find a pastor and tell them, like, my leg is straight? Then the moment I want to go forward, I felt the most excruciating pain I have ever felt in my whole life. Like, the whole 10 years put together, I've never felt anything like it. My back began to split all the way from my lower back into my bone. It was painful. It felt like someone was putting a knife through my bone. It was so painful. And something was like, but you're in pain. Why would you go and find a pastor? I'm like, no, but I'm in pain, but my leg is straight. This is enough for me. Like, it's straight. It's never been this way. And so even in the pain, I just ran to find the pastor, only to find the time I reached the pastor, Mom Jane, and I told her, the pain left.
So right there, you are battling between the miracle that you're about to get.
Exactly. What I saw was like, I've never been able to stand straight. But it's like, why would you go? You're still in pain. There's no miracle. I was like, no, but my leg is like, yeah, but you're pain. So I fought it. I'm like, no, I'm going to testify. So I quickly ran to the pastor. By the time I opened my mouth, my leg, ikakata.
So you had to fight for your
Yes,
miracle.
I had to.
I hope we are taking notes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so what happened after that?
So from then, I spoke to Mom Jane, and then she spoke to Baba, and like he called me forward and he's like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, I told him my leg has never been straight for over 10 years. He's like, "Are you serious?" And then he made me walk back and forth, and then he made me sit on a chair, and then he started calling my leg forth. And he just said, "Left leg, come, come, come. Left leg, come, come, come." And actually, before he called it, they used the textbook to measure my legs. And I could feel I could feel the book with the right leg, but not with the left leg. And after Baba kept calling, I could now feel the book. And then it kind of felt like now the right leg had gone longer than the left leg, which was shorter. It was so confusing, but I could literally feel that there's something going on, because even like the pain, it felt like muscles are stretching. It felt unusual, but he just kept calling the leg. But from that day that he did that, the pain cut. I was no longer in pain. Literally. Yeah. Literally.
Celebrate Jesus. Wow. This is just mind-blowing. Yeah? Just to comprehend it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. So from that day to now,
Yeah.
what are you been experiencing?
Actually, from that day, the pain cut, and I could even do things that I couldn't do before. Like now I can kneel with like both legs, both legs in the same place. I can now sleep on either side, any side I want, I can sleep with no pain at all. I can sit on the floor without feeling pain, and when I stand up, my leg is not numb, because my leg could go numb for 20 minutes, like I can't feel my leg. But now all that is gone. So everything from the cloudy thing, weather forecast, done. I couldn't do that anymore.
Wow. Celebrate Jesus. Yeah. Total healing from pain.
Yes.
No tracing of pain anymore.
Nothing.
No anticipation of pain.
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Our God is amazing, God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was in no pain whatsoever, because even times when I get into the car, I literally had to lift my leg and put it inside, because I couldn't lift it on its own. So every time I get into the car, I lift my leg, I put it inside. So I had to change those behaviors. Like every time I go into the car, I'm about to lift the leg. Bonolo, stop it. Don't do that anymore. Just put the leg, let the leg do its course. So there's so many things I have to correct myself. I'm now learning like how to sit properly, because literally I didn't notice the condition would make me sit like this. In my head, I think I'm straight, but actually my body is facing the other way. So ever since then, all those things, I began to notice changes even in my posture. And like, even when it's cold, even there's AC, I'm fine, I'm not in pain. So a lot of things changed very quickly. It would take time until I notice, oh, I'm doing something wrong. And I'm like, you're healed, stop it, walk nicely. So yeah, a lot of things changed.
It is just mind-blowing.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. And I wish the husband was here just to confirm this, but he's on duty at the back. So, but I understand God was not done with you.
Exactly, yeah. It's true.
I know there is so much more that God has done to you. Can you now talk about it? And before that, I'm trying to imagine, having pain frequently before.
Yes.
It can even cause a strain in your marriage.
Yeah.
Because every time you're in this pain, and when someone comes with their own environment,
own
moods,
agendas,
you can...
Yeah, just like what? no. It's like,
Wow.
no, let's just hold on. Another day, yeah.
Okay, so what God has continued doing in your life?
Yeah, so like ever since then, with all these new changes, even you're a lot happier now because you don't have pain. You know, even when people are like, yeah, let's go swimming, you're like, let's do this. You know, swimming was such a horror. It's painful to swim because, first of all, water is cold. Then when we finish, we have to move our legs. And then when people want to go out, I'm kind of like, I'm in pain. We can't really go. My mood is low. But then now, if you say let's go, okay, let's go. It's fine. We can go. Yeah, you're even more excited. I think for me, the biggest change is really that the pain left me that last year when Baba spoke the word. But I could notice that sometimes people would look at me and like, why are you limping? To be honest, I would only know I'm limping because you tell me. Whereas previously, I would be limping because I feel pain. So now the issue was, I don't feel pain, but someone can see I'm limping, but for me, I'm like, what's wrong? I'm fine, you know? So there was...
And doctor, how can you explain such a behavior?
So the disease causes joint damage, and when it starts like eating the bones, now it brings a difference in the measurements of the bone. So the affected leg becomes shorter than the normal leg, and that's why they limp. But also in addition to the limping, it's because now this joint is responsible for maintaining a balance in the body. It holds the weight of the upper body, this joint, the hip joint. So when it's damaged, it means that it cannot bear such weights which in a normal person it could bear. So the person adapts to eliminating more weight on the affected joint, and that's why she's mentioning sitting with certain postures and limping. So all are just the ways of decreasing the weight in the affected joint.
Yeah, it's true. So the pain wasn't there anymore, but because I guess my mind was so used to the whole limping thing, it just kept doing its limping, but actually I wasn't in any pain.
Wow. Now, apart from that, I know God was continue working on you, even in terms of now, how you were walking. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, yeah. I used to have this struggle where every time I'm walking, I'm so conscious that I shouldn't limp. To the point where when I walk, like the moment I stand from the chair, I mentally prepare myself like, Bonolo, walk straight, stop limping, walk properly. So with every step, I'm telling myself to walk properly. Like I notice people will look at me, like sometimes at work, you know, people are like, and I'm like, stop limping. They're looking at you now. So walking is actually stressful for me. I have to start imagining, okay, nikifika pale, when I make the turn, I should be, you know, I should do it properly. Don't like limp or anything. So I think about my strides constantly. Kwamba, walk properly. Because I'm also trying to break my mind away from what it's used to. And I remember in one of the services just recently, Baba, he also prayed for me. And he made us sit on the stage and he began to call our legs. And the moment he told me to walk, it's like I walked without thinking that I should stop limping. My head was literally lighter. And even as I walked, I wasn't thinking, Bonolo, walk straight, Bonolo, walk straight. I was just walking freely. I was telling the doctor, I call it stress-free walking because I'm not thinking about walking straight. I'm just literally walking. And so that for me was mind-blowing because every day I have to keep saying, Bonolo, walk straight, leg, walk straight. Yeah, so that day, I was blown away, like, hey, when I'm walking without thinking, which for you guys is okay because you don't need to think about it. But for me, I have to really think hard, So that was, for me, that was very amazing.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Celebrate Jesus. We can give God the glory of this amazing testimony that we had today. Yeah, we can do much better. Our God is amazing. And what He has done to Bonolo, what He has done to Sarah, what He has done to Anna Marie, to Priska, He can do it for you. I wish we could continue. We had a lot more for you, but the time is